Hello, I'm Dr. Carlos Zgheib from surgery at UC Denver, Colorado. Today we have Dr. Ken Liechty with us. Dr. Ken Liechty is a pediatric and fetal surgeon at Children's Hospital, Colorado. He's also the founder and president of Ceria Therapeutics, a small biotech company here in Aurora. Dr. Liechty, can you tell us a little bit about Ceria Therapeutics and why did you decide to start this company?
Thanks, Carlos. As a physician scientist, the holy grail for us is to actually find something at the bedside and take it to the research bench and figure the problem out and come up with a therapeutic and bring that back to improve patient care and patient outcomes. And so our technology is based on our work in the laboratory. And to be able to bring this back, we needed to commercialize it and develop a product. So that was the intent of Ceria Therapeutics. Our work and research was based on the fetus's response to injury. So we know in utero there's a privileged environment, and the way a fetus responds to injury is with regeneration, so they can heal scarlessly. And we've shown in a number of tissues, including the heart, skin, tendon, that they can regenerate organs after they're injured. So we studied that and found that one of the things they do is this response is with minimal inflammation. So we developed a therapeutic targeting inflammation and oxidative stress to try and fetalize the adult environment or the pediatric environment to promote regeneration in various tissues after they're injured.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very interesting. So your company is developing multiple drugs for different applications. Can you tell us a little bit more details on these drugs and what disease are you trying to target?
So our platform drug is a nanoparticle. It's a cerium oxide nanoparticle. It's a rare earth metal, and what its properties are involved with are binding molecular oxygen, binding oxidative stress so that the reactive oxygen species following injury don't injure the tissue they're in. And what we've done is we've conjugated that to a microRNA that inhibits inflammation. So it's kind of a synergistic response by getting rid of inflammation and getting rid of existing oxidative stress so that they can be synergistic. So when you talk about diseases that might be involved, any disease where inflammation and oxidative stress play a pathogenic role in causing that disease. One application is diabetic wounds. Part of the reason diabetic wounds don't heal is that there's chronic inflammation and chronic oxidative stress. Another application is ARDS, or acute respiratory distress syndrome, which is the #1 cause of death in COVID-19. It's once the lungs are injured, they develop ARDS, where the membranes get thickened. There's scar tissue that forms. There's edema, and the lungs stop functioning. And so part of the pathogenesis of that disease is the inflammatory response to injury. A third application is that of colitis, so inflammatory bowel disease, where the colon becomes inflamed and can have problems with these patients gaining weight, especially when they're young, and leads to chronic disability, weight loss, poor growth, those kind of things. And a central feature of that is chronic inflammation. And right now, existing therapies are immunomodulators that are required to be given systemically, so you become immunosuppressed. So that has its own potential side effects, whereas we're developing a topical or local immunosuppressive drug to target inflammation and oxidative stress.
Wow, that's very impressive for a startup company to have that many drugs and is able to target that many disease states at the same time. Recently, Ceria Therapeutics was awarded a grant from the state of Colorado to develop these therapeutics. Can you tell us a little bit about this award and why is it important for Ceria?
Sure. So this award is from the state of Colorado. It's designed for economic development and to promote growth and of biotech within the state of Colorado, and to support funding of the development of these processes. And this particular grant helps fund the manufacturing of the drug. So we're actually manufacturing the drug on campus here in the Gates Biomanufacturing Facility. It's kind of a novel drug because it requires the nanoparticles to be synthesized. There's a conjugation reaction to the microRNA, and the microRNAs are very sensitive to degradation. So it's been a challenging new drug to develop. And Gates has been partnering with us, and then this money is help pay for that development and manufacturing of the drug so that we can proceed to our IND with the FDA.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Also, you received another award from the NIH for one of the other applications for your therapeutic. That award is, I believe, for the ARDS, for the acute lung injury. What is that award for, and what is it gonna fund?
So that is an NIH award that's targeted to small business development. It's developed to be in partnership and promote partnership between academic institutions and startup companies. And it's a small business award that helps fund, and like you mentioned, in this application, it's the lung drug that we're working on. And so this will get us our preliminary data validating that this drug does work in animal models, and then also that it's non-toxic, and will lead us to the next level where we'll be doing this in humans.
Very interesting. So you mentioned IND and working with the FDA. Where are you with that, and how do the next 5 years look for Ceria with all these drugs?
It's a great question. We have had 2 pre-IND meetings with the FDA, one for our diabetic wound healing application and one for our lung application. And given the pandemic, we actually were part of an accelerated program to develop therapeutics for lung indications. So we've had those meetings, and what those meetings do is basically give us a roadmap of what we need to do to get to apply for use in humans. And so we're in the process of getting those studies done. Manufacturing the drug is key to begin with, because that's the drug you have to use in your toxicity studies and pharmacokinetics. So we're hoping that within the year we'll be in first-in-human studies, starting with the lung indications.
Impressive. And speaking of the lung indication, there are some drugs available on the market to treat some sort of inflammation in the lungs or infection in the lungs. What makes your drug, the drug you're developing for ARDS, what makes it unique and different from the other drugs available on the market?
So for ARDS, there has been multiple attempts at developing a drug, and there's not been any that succeeded in trials to improve outcomes. And we've had a revisitation of all those drugs with this COVID pandemic, and with it being the leading cause of death, is the lung injury. We've gone back to trying steroids, and we're doing things that are immunomodulatory, like antibodies to IL-6 and those types of immunomodulators. The problem is they're monotherapies to one aspect, whereas our drug treats oxidative stress and inflammation, and the nanoparticles are an effective delivery vehicle for delivering microRNAs to the cells in a specific way. We don't have to have really high doses because we're delivering them so effectively. You don't have off-target effects and other complications of using those microRNAs that could have negative effects on drug delivery. So our microRNA, one of the things it does target is interleukin-6 and interleukin-8, which are prime mediators of acute lung injury and progression to ARDS.
Amazing. Thank you, Dr. Liechty, for being with us today and for all the information you gave us about the drugs you're developing. For more information, please visit our website, and thank you for being with us today.